Hi friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at this knife, the TwoSun TS314. I should have wiped the blade down beforehand, shouldn't I? Oh boy. I guess that looks a little bit better. This is a morning night design, and 14C28N Sandvik steel. It's a flipper liner lock with this sort of ivory colored G10. It feels like cheap G10. It doesn't feel like your typical normal G10. It feels, I don't know, it just feels cheap. And other than that, it's just a nice little liner lock knife. It's got pros, it's got cons. We're going to go over all of that stuff, so stick around. Oh, before that, the price for this knife at White Mountain Knives, it's $39.99. They're currently sold out, but if enough of you people sign up to be notified if it comes back, the higher the odds are that it's going to come back. Because the cheapest price I could find anywhere else was on AliExpress, $49. So almost 20% more at AliExpress, and then you got to wait a long time to get it too. And so there's that. Also at White Mountain Knives, you can save 10% off of that $39.99 if you use my discount code CCE with every purchase. And if you like automatic knives, check out White Mountain Auto Knives. You can get 10% off with that code there too. Well, without any further babble running of my mouth, let's get to the tabletop and check it out. So here she is. It's a pretty good looking knife, if you ask me. I like the general design of this thing. The forward choil is big enough to be useful. Very comfortable grip this way. Very secure grip. Very usable for a little knife. We've got like a Wharncliffe style blade. Tiny bit of a recurve right here, which I don't mind at all. That's not hard to sharpen, especially on a guided sharpening system. With your regular inch-wide stones, you can sharpen this kind of very slight recurve without any big issues. Jimping on the thumb riser right there. Big swedge. Triangle hole that's milled in. It's kind of like a step milling. Nice decorative touch. Night Morning Design logo, 14C28N. And then the big forward choil. It's like a nice hawkbill style blade, and it's fairly thin behind the grind. Not bad. I quite like that. And it did perform quite well with cutting. Really good with puncturing and quite good with slicing. Not that good for, just cutting. The handle, like I said, it's G10. That's what they say it is. And you can maybe see the first flaw already. This is in 4K, and especially if you're watching in 4K, you can see the first flaw. But wait a minute, I forgot to do sizes. Back up a step. Here's the Ontario Rat 1 that I usually use. I can almost get it on the screen. As you can see, it's definitely a smaller knife. If we line up the end of the handle, it's, just, an inch into the cutting edge, and you're already done. It's a little bit closer to something like the 7010 by San Remu, except for it's smaller than that as well. Of course, it's quite a bit thicker, but yeah, it's a small knife. Now back to that flaw, right there. We've got to tighten this thing down. I just realized it's loose side to side, so it's come loose, which is not uncommon in TwoSun knives because they don't use Loctite usually, and these screws tend to come loose. So I'm going to snug this back up, and then we'll continue our video. So all I have to do is take my T8, tighten it up a little bit, and when it's tightened up properly, there's no blade play side to side, up and down, and it's still easily flickable. It just stops wherever you stop because this size of a blade is quite light and the pressure from the lock arm and the detent ball pushing on the side of the blade is enough to just cause it to be held wherever it stops. Not a big deal. I don't really mind either way. Back to the handle, highly skeletonized liners. We've got this checker pattern on the surface of the handle, and then we've got this little trench fuller milled across the handle there. So that's smooth in there, but it's very grippy in hand. I like how secure the grip feels in the hand. And I was surprised that this pocket clip does not feel super hot in the hand. Do I like this pocket clip? Not for a second. If there's anybody from TwoSun listening, please listen. Make yourselves at least 5 different budget pocket clips, and then pick and choose between those 5, how they fit in your different knife designs, instead of using the same pocket clip for every single budget knife. It's just, people aren't liking it. People are starting to get tired of it, and they're stopping buying your knives a bit. They're slowing down with purchasing your knives, I think, because this pocket clip, while being functional, it's a bit ugly, and at least to me it's a bit ugly. And on some knives it gets a little hot in the hand because it's quite big. It stands out quite far, and it's quite wide right here. And on this knife, it's just too big. It's just plain too big. Okay, there's that. Great big stop pin up here. We'll take it apart real soon so that you can see how it's built. We've got nice big screws here, T8 screws on the pocket clip and everywhere else. The knife is comfortable. It's not very usable if you only grip it in the handle. You just can't get a lot of good purchase on this knife this way. You almost need to use that forward choil every time. And when you do, the thumb rests very comfortably, and it's a usable knife. Even a reverse grip, again, using that forward choil, very comfortable, quite secure. It's a fairly usable little knife, and it's a chunky little beast. Let's go over all the sizes and everything before we take it apart. The weight of this knife, 86 grams, 3.05 ounces, so just a hair over 3 ounces. Not bad. How sharp was it from the factory? I measured it in 3 places, 110 bests. That's quite good, very sharp from the factory. The cutting edge length is 53.9 millimeters, 2.12 inches. Blade length, so tip of the blade to the closest spot on the handle, is 60.7 millimeters, 2.39 inches. The thickness of the blade is 3.64 millimeters, that's 0.143 of an inch, well over 1/8 of an inch. The blade depth, the widest point is actually right here, well, actually a bit up from the heel of the blade, because the recurve is very slight, but this thumb riser is a bit big, so it's up here. 27.8 millimeters, 1.09 inches. How thin is it behind the grind? 0.44 millimeters, 17/1000ths of an inch. That's very good. The grind angles, I didn't average it out yet. On this knife, I'll put the average on the screen. It started at 21 degrees, went to 23.1 degrees, ended at 23.9. This side started at 20.1 degrees, went to 20.7, ended at 19.3. So it's actually not that bad. The handle length, it is 89.2 millimeters, 3.51 inches. The grip area, well, basically it's only useful if you use the forward choil, so we're giving you that. That's about 9 centimeters, about 3.5 inches. The handle thickness on the G10, 15.8 millimeters, 0.622 of an inch. The handle depth, within the grip area, this time I'm not counting this flipper. I'm saying within the grip area back here. How wide is it this way? The widest point is 25.7 degrees, 1.01 inches. And when the knife is closed, the widest point is right here, and that is 33.3 degrees, 1.31 inches. And the total length of this knife from tip to end is 148.2 millimeters, 5.83 inches. So those are all the measurements that matter. If you want to buy one of these, I'll leave links down below for White Mountain Knives. Remember the coupon code. And I'll leave links for AliExpress. If you just can't wait and you must get one of these, you can go to AliExpress and order it there. Please use my referral link because that does help out my channel. First, it turns out I was incorrect in my presumption about these holes not being spaced right. It's going to be really hard to see, but I'll try to show that some of the G10 here has been accidentally milled away because there's a really rough surface there where it's just been scooped away. There's a line roughly along here. Everywhere else it's nice and smooth, and then right there it's rough, like it's skipped out of the tool or something somehow, and just, and that's why it's thinner there. It's the full thickness here, and it's thinner here because material's been taken away. So I think I might be able to fix that with some Sugru. I did a video on Sugru a while ago. It's a kind of epoxy glue filler adhesive multi-purpose material that I really, really like. And you know, maybe there's some that's roughly this ivory color, and basically just fill in that space. Unless you can think of something else I could put in there to fill in that space and still, you know, really thin, keep it smooth, just to fill that in. Anyway, there you go. Skeletonizing, lots over there, just one tiny bit over here. Ceramic detent ball, ceramic ball bearings, D-shaped pivot pin, which is nice. And you can see here, there's the hourglass shape on this pin is just a sleeve that comes over. There's that hole there that I was talking about. And of course, you know, that's got this steel collar. And yeah, it's well made. No big issues at all in the construction. Little ramp there, like a lot of TwoSun knives have. So nothing fancy here. The screws did come out really easily because there's no thread locker anywhere. I'm going to use my VC3 thread mate in that pivot screw, especially since it's a D-shaped pin. It's not going to be free spinning, and then it's not going to come loose as I'm using the knife, or the next guy for that matter. I like this. It's a nice ivory kind of color. If you look really closely at the edges, you can sort of see two-tone kind of colors in that G10. What are my overall thoughts? Well, action's even nicer now that I've put my lubrication on there. It's just a really nice lubrication that doesn't cost much. This stuff, Lucas oil, fishing reel oil. They also make a gun oil. I don't know if it's the same. It's probably a little different composition and stuff. But yeah, pocket clip, it's okay. Don't really like it. I didn't show you some of the other things though. Lockup, it's exactly where I like it to be on a new knife. Alignment, very good. The flipper, got the jimping on the front, easy to use. The lock release, you've got a little bit of chamfer right there, easy to disengage. They even chamfered the other side just a little bit. The detent is just a little bit too strong, and I haven't adjusted it yet. I'll do that later on. And I'm going to put my VC3 thread mate on this screw because it comes loose much too easily. And yeah, not bad. It's a pretty good knife. The problems with it, whoops, I over-tightened that. The problems with it can be overcome without much effort, but it does require some effort. So thanks for coming along with me on this ride. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb. Bye for now.